if it's a party, I know I slide through. Hey, why me shine with no dime, slide through. Hey, bitch, I'm elevator high.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I know I slide through. Why me shine with no dime,
It's your boy Blakberry the Red. It's Thursday night, which means only one thing. It must be time for the Red.
Step up in this bitch like I'm 10 feet high. Ho, I'm just outstanding. That mean that I can't lie. I got the green next to me. Call that shit a stand by. It ain't one beat. That a nigga won't find. Yeah, I'm raising up the temperature. You're looking for some ability. He gon' get up in the yeah. A nigga going hard as fuck. I'm tired of wax.
We're gonna go ahead and get it started. So if you're new to the channel, you know that your boy Blakberry is about one thing and one thing only. That's the home team and nothing but the home team, baby. So, you know what we're about. So what we're going to do is tonight, man, we're going to go ahead and get this thing kick started. We going over edge linebackers, guys I think that can come into the league and could plug in at the 3-4 defense if that's what we stay in. Depending on, I got to go do some more homework on what Jeff Obert likes to do. I know he's run multiple defenses over his career. He's been a part of different defenses over his career. But I'm gonna go take a look at and see what I think he's more likely to bring to the Atlanta Falcons. We're gonna see whether or not he's going to implement more of something of his liking with the game plan for the defense, or if it's going to be something that we see more of a Raheem Morris type element back with the defense. We're going to see. It's going to be a lot to figure out going into this season. But what we're going to do tonight is we're going to try to see what exactly these guys might try to bring to the Falcons per draft. So we just going to jump right into it with the linebackers, with the edge linebackers. Now, there's a couple of these guys on here. I'm going to let y'all know now. It's a couple guys on here that's more defensive ends than they are edges, but they show the ability to be able to play in a 3-4 defense at outside edge, at outside linebacker. Y'all know what it is with me. I'm looking at what guys are what they would be able to do at the next level. It goes a little bit deeper than it does with just what position they play in college. It goes a little bit further than that. If you go into the next level, you go into the professionals. We know guys are taken out of their collegiate positions and putting somewhere different when they get to the league. Well, what your boy Blakberry do, if you don't know by now, I am the linebacker whisperer. I was dubbed that name by somebody I cannot remember that watches me, one of my loyal compadres in the chat. Hopefully they come through tonight so we can say what's up to them. But we looking at guys that could come to the next level and could play the edge linebacker position at the next level. Typically in a 3-4 defense or in something like a 4-3. No, it'll be 3-4 defense. Just depending on what where they end up. So first guy on the list, and of course we're going over safeties as well. That'll be after the linebacker group. But you know what? I want to do something a little different. Tonight we're going to kind of put things in reverse. And we're going to put things, and we're going to open up a Q&A. Because I think we'll use the first 30 minutes or so of the live to if you got some questions you want to ask Blakberry, if you got something you want to know, because I haven't been on in a while. It's my first time back since the regular season ended for the Atlanta Falcons. it's my first time back since then. Uh, since the reaction shows of the last game. And if you got any questions you want to ask me, it's a lot done happened in the news with the Falcons, a lot done happened in the NFL. We got some teams that's been eliminated from the playoffs, teams that kind of surprisingly people thought they would still be here right now, i.e. the Baltimore Ravens. So if you got any questions for me, just holler at me. But real quick, we got Jonte Roger in the building. He say, "What it do, Blackberry? No C, just a K. What's happening, bro? What are your thoughts on bringing back Jeff?" Okay, so I know a lot of content creators have been on the fence with the Jeff Ulbrich hiring, from what I've seen. I'm not on the fence with this. I think it's a good hire for Raheem Morris. I don't know if it's a good hire for the Falcons. The reason why I think it's a good hire for Raheem Morris is because you're getting somebody that's familiar with you, somebody you're familiar with. They're going to be in line with what Raheem Morris likes to do defensively. Um, I think Jeff Ulbrich will also be more in tune with the pass rush scheme that Raheem Morris is envisioning for the defensive line. I also think if a guy like Grady Jarrett is still here on this team, or David Onyemata is still here, if they are both, especially if they're both still here on this team, the pass rush scheme for the defensive line under Jeff Ulbrich, I think that they'll be more inclined and in tune with what they do in the pass rush scheme under Jeff Ulbrich. Now, they still have to hire a defensive line coach. But my theory with that is that the defensive line coach will be there to make sure that the guys are covering the fundamentals, make sure they're not forgetting the fundamentals, make sure that they're, excuse me, he'll make sure that they're understanding what to do at certain times of the game with the strategy, with the game plan. But ultimately, it's going to be Jeff Ulbrich putting his imprint on the pass rush scheme for the front, for the defensive front. I think that Grady Jarrett likes having will be more inclined to do and agree with what Jeff Ulbrich brings to the table. And I think that with that being said, Jeff Ulbrich is a good hire for Raheem Morris. What you want to put him in here? Anyway, so with that being said, anybody got any questions? We're gonna do a Q&A before we get to these guys, and we're gonna start with the edge rushers, with the edge guys. And I said this a while back. What's going on with Southside? I said this a while back. The outside linebacker and defensive end positions are pretty much now entwined with one another. And it's more so to do with the evolution of the outside linebacker in itself. So in today's league, outside linebackers are asked to do a little bit more than outside linebackers of yesterday. And what I mean by that is this. The athlete in football itself has evolved. These guys are bigger and they're stronger and faster than they used to be back in the day. Now, not necessarily bigger as in size, but they're stronger and they're more athletic and they're faster. The problem is that today's athlete is a little more pacified. So they may not be as tough in general as the football athlete of yesterday. So as opposed to like a guy like Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor wasn't necessarily a big dude, but Lawrence Taylor was nasty and ferocious. And yeah, of course, you can also get that when you get on that booger sugar, then of course you're also gonna be a little bit more intense than most or out there on the football field. But there was still that mindset that, hey, I'm finna go out here and I'm finna wreak havoc. I'm finna be causing wreckage. And that's at the expense of my own body and well-being, just to make sure I get the job done. A lot of athletes today, they just not gonna do that. A lot of it got to do with the mental health thing. A lot of it got to do with a lot of these guys just don't eat the same because of their diet. They not as durable. There's a lot that goes into it, but they are stronger in general than what they used to be, the athlete in today's football. Also, they're faster in positions that you don't expect them to have speed at. Middle linebackers back in the day weren't looked at to be guys that could get after it in open field, but you got guys at middle linebacker now that can run you down. We had a guy by the name of Deion Jones who nobody was safe getting around the edge with him at middle linebacker. He could run sideline to sideline better than better than anybody in the game. So when it comes to the evolution of today's football player, the edge guys are just expected to do a little bit more. And when I say a little bit more, I'm basically saying in coverage. When it comes to covering, the edge position is now a more athletic position as opposed to back in the day. The edge position wasn't that athletic. The edge position was basically you're going to contain and you're going to rush the pass. You're going to rush the quarterback. Nowadays, you're expected to do a little bit more. Now, of course, if you run a 3-4 defense, then your edge guys are expected to cover. But back in the day, you mainly just covered the flats and you covered, whatever came out the backfield. Not today. Not today. Today, you might ask a edge guy to drop back in coverage and not just cover the flat, but you might be asking them to cover the sidelines. So, you might be asking them to, and typically, some that's going to be out there going to be a receiver. So it just depends on what the defensive schema is trying to accomplish, and you got to get the right personnel out there for that. So one of the first guys I got on the list is Danny Dennis. Now I'm gonna pull some of these guys up so y'all can see them, because we doing this together, right? Let me make sure everything on silent. Make sure I don't want to get no copyright infringements. Shout out to Party on Broad podcast. Party on Broad podcast. I actually, this before I get into my own deep dive, I look at Party on Broadcast on YouTube. That dude knows his shit. Me and him have similar ideas when it comes to what linebackers are supposed to do at the next level. The most important thing, myself and him, I think, if I can't speak for him, but just watching the guy's videos on YouTube, Party on Broad podcast, I can see that I would like to think that he thinks like I think. And that is that at the college level, you have to critique it at a college level. But you have to be able to determine if it's something that can be translated to the NFL. And if so, can it be can it grow into something more at the next level? Is this guy a versatile guy? If he's not versatile, that means he's gonna be limited to a lot that he can do, which means he's gonna be limited to certain defensive coordinators. He's gonna be limited to certain defensive minded coaches. He's gonna be limited to certain schemes. So can he bring what he does at the college level to the NFL? So when we looking into, and that's just an example of how deep I get into it when it comes to the linebacker position. And the reason why I consider edge the linebacker position is because, like I said before, the evolution of the game. Defensive ends and edges are basically the same goddamn thing now. There really is no such thing as a defensive end anymore. Defensive ends can do what linebackers can do. So even the big ones, like I got a guy on here. He got the alopecia thing. Look, got the krillin thing going on. He looks like he looks like a defensive end, but the guy actually can play outside linebacker. But when I get to him, I tell you who he is. But let me pull these guys up real quick. Excuse me. And I'm just gonna do a simple Google search because we doing this together. It's not what I do is really no different than what anybody else is capable of doing. When I do my research, the difference is I'm just going to go look at a lot of different um I'm going to go look at a lot of different sources to get my information on them. But here's the first guy. Oh, what's happening with you, Michael? He say black in the building. Yes, sir. We on fire. Yes, sir. We gonna be a little we trying to get information across the night, so we ain't gonna turn up too much tonight. We just trying to get some information across. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and share this screen. All right. So this is per Google, of course. I'm just showing y'all who this guy is. This is Danny Dennis Sutton. All right. Penn State. He's got this guy at 6'5", 270 pounds, and he's a junior. What he's mostly known for at the collegiate level, he has great bend, which means it's really hard to get around him. When he's setting the edge, it's really hard to get around him because he can take the edge away with his athleticism. He has great athleticism, and he's long. He's 6'5", and he's 270. So it's a lot of offensive tackles that's not going to be able to just have their way with him in the run defense, and they're not going to be able to have their way with him when guards are pulling. It's going to be hard to knock this guy off balance. It's going to be hard to knock this guy off his spot. So he's at Penn State. Excuse me. I don't really get into like stats and things with these guys until I get a little more deeper in the dive with them. But I found this one real interesting with Danny Dennis Sutton. Guy went to high school in Maryland to McDonough School. If you can see that, McDonough School. It's real close to where I live in McDonough, Georgia. So I just found that interesting. Don't nobody else care about that shit, but I do. Oh shit. But this dude's out of Penn State, man. 6'5", 21, 270 pound junior out of Penn State. Guy has great bend. Guy has great athleticism. Uh, you can tell he's a natural build. He's not real cut. He's a natural build guy. He do look like he come out of the rural area of Maryland. So you can imagine the workouts that they are typically, inclined to do out there in them areas. Probably pushing over some cows, you know, throwing some hay bales, that type of thing to stay in shape. So that natural build, you want a natural toughness to your players. You don't want guys that could just be pushed around because mentally they're not even thinking about taking the contact. Well, the country boys, they know how to take contact. Next guy on my list, like I say, we doing this together. Jack Sawyer, Ohio State, 6'5", 260, senior. So Jack Sawyer, Ohio State, 6'5", 270 pounds, 260 pounds senior. Something I really like about this guy, something I seen out of this guy, he reminds me a whole hell of a lot like TJ Watt. Um, because of that motor that he has. He has a high motor and he got high intensity. I know people probably saying TJ Watt because he looked like TJ Watt a little bit. Nah, I ain't saying that because he kind of looked like him. If you watch him play, this dude has great size, and for a guy his size to have the quick step that he has at the snap, it's elite. This guy has elite mobility at the snap. Mobility at the snap is that first step. Do they have a quick first step? They don't. He doesn't do a lot of false steps. He doesn't take a lot of false steps, and if he does take a false step, he makes up with it with great hand. With having great hands, he has great strength, and he's damn good at being able to maneuver in the passing game. Meaning, if he needs to be able to adjust to drop back in a coverage after he's pass rush, he has the intelligence. He has great football instincts and intelligence to know when to do that. Jack Sawyer, man, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. He is a white boy, and I know we in Atlanta. We try to look for the brothers first, so let's get, and they're just keeping it a buck. Let's keeping it 100. But I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I told folks about Jack Campbell, who currently plays for the Detroit Lions, a couple off seasons ago, or last off season. Jonte Rosier say, "What scares me is we don't know how to draft." Well, see, that's the thing, Jonte. Um, like I was getting ready to say, this dude right here, this is probably my favorite edge guy in this draft, and it's more to do with his want to play football, his desire to play the game, his intensity, his motor that he has, along with the just natural ability that he has with the God given abilities he got at 6'5", 260, and to be real, and he's one of those dudes that he's probably going to get a little bigger, which should be scary to a lot of quarterbacks, but his ability to play in space, He has the length, the size. He's not fast, but he has that. He has quick instincts, so it makes him look like he's faster than what he really is because of his quick instincts and his quick reactions to the football. So I really believe that this is the best edge guy in the draft for this year. I don't know if we'll get him, but he's definitely a first round pick. Is he going to go to first round? It's hard to say. Let's go down the rundown here. Let's go down the rundown here. This is per CBS Sports. This is the projected first. This is the projected top 20, and I don't think it's necessarily in an order. It's in some kind of order, but we'll see. But let me see if y'all can see that. Oh no, y'all can see it now. But this per CBS Sports, Travis Hunter is at number 1. Will Johnson from Michigan at number 2. And the trend you're going to see is with CBS Sports, they got a lot of juniors that's projected in the top 20. A lot of juniors. I only count 6 seniors. I only count 6 seniors in the top 20 for CBS Sports. But I digress. Travis Hunter, Will Johnson, Abdul Carter, Cam Ward, Mason Graham out of Michigan, defensive lineman. Teturio McMillan out of Arizona. I got to do some research on this dude. He'll receiver. Will Campbell, LSU. Kelvin Banks Jr., Shadur Sanders, Ashton Genty. And I'm kind of shocked. I thought Shadur and Ashton would at least be like right up in here, 5 and 6. It's kind of shocking that they down here at 9 and 10, especially Ashton Genty. That's kind of shocking. James Pierce Jr., Luther Burton III, Michael Williams, Malachi Starks out of Georgia. That's a Georgia boy. That's somebody we're not gonna go over tonight, but we're gonna go over him. We're gonna go over him on the second round of safeties. Nick Scorton, Texas A&M, Princely, you Umana Millen out of Ole Miss. That's another guy we're gonna go over, not tonight, but we're gonna go over him on the second round of edge guys and linebackers. Josh Simmons, Tyler Warren, Siobhan Reveal Jr., Walter Nolan. So as you can see, Jack Sawyer is not even in the top 20 as far as CBS is concerned. With their projections, they're not even in the top 20. So the reason why I say, if you pay attention to your boy Blakberry, if you pay attention to the shit I do, the trend you're going to see with me is I'm very good at picking out guys out of college that's going to come to the next level and that's going to make some noise based off of what I see in them. Not necessarily what they've done in college, but what I see in them. This guy, Jack Sawyer, man, what I see in him, I see a dog. I really see these guys being maybe a top. He's really, to me, the top 10 in the entire draft. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see. Usually when I say this, I put the Atlanta fan base on the Kalijah Kancey. I put the Atlanta fan base on the Deion Branch. I put the Atlanta fan base onto Jack Campbell. Listen, what I tell y'all, that's just naming a few. When I tell y'all I'm really good at picking out these jewels, picking out these dimes, I'm telling y'all, that boy out of NC State, what his name? The boy that came out of NC State last year, played linebacker. That dude balling. I can't get his name out right now. But hey, man, when you come to this channel, You're going to find guys with me because we're going to do it together. We're going to find guys that's going to come to the next level that a lot of people might not necessarily be thinking are going to be those big names, big guys that come out and make a lot of noise. And I'm telling you, I know how to find these guys, man. So when you come over here, you're going to find some jewels. Next guy on the list, Kyle Kennard. Guy out of South Carolina, 6'5", 254-pound senior. He's great, and he has great athleticism and great physicality. Something I like about him, he kind of reminds me of a kind of like suburban high school jock. And I know a lot of people say, "Well, damn, isn't that all college football players?" No, not really. He reminds me of that dude, like when like say if you was watching a TV show like what's the one with what's a good example? I guess Friday Night Lights. Most of that was suburban. What was it? No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. What was most suburban? What's the one with that dude that be playing that's playing a coach and ain't got no business playing a coach? Tay Diggs. What's the one with Tay Diggs? That's in the suburbs. That one in the suburb. What's up with your Corey Gill 5? What's happening, man? What's the name of that goddamn TV show with Tay Diggs? Him playing the coach. He ain't got no goddamn bid in playing a coach. He ain't even believable as a damn coach. All American. All American. That's the name of it. All American. Nah, that homecoming. All American. So, yeah, that's it. What's up with Bernard Cantrell? But this guy, he looks a little bit like the dude that plays in All American, but he just remind me a little like the way he carries himself, like that suburban black kid. Got parents, one of them probably a lawyer, other one probably a doctor. Probably ain't had his parents probably came up a certain way, but he ain't have to. But he goddamn go out there and he show his ass out there on that football field, and he got all the options in the world. You know, he's smart, he's intelligent, or keep his grades up. He could go to an Ivy League school for academics, or he could go to be a good ball player. Well, the boy Kyle Kennard, he could do. This dude is very intelligent, a very intelligent football player. But along with his intelligence, he's very physical. He's a very physical football player, and he has a lot of goddamn athleticism. And he's 6'5", 254 pounds. I like to see him get up to 260. What's up, son? Okay, go ahead. But I like to see the young man get up a little bit more on it, get up to about 260. But at 6'5" with the freakish athleticism he has, man, this dude could be a monster, y'all. This dude could be a monster at the next level. Something I revel about South Carolina defensive players is that they all seem to come into the league with the expectation that they are going to over exceed, like they're going to play above their expectations. It's just like who was Jadeveon Clowney? Jadeveon Clowney was didn't Jadeveon Clowney play for South Carolina? Who else? Then a guy we drafted, then he played for South Carolina. What did Tat McKinley? Then Tat McKinley play for South Carolina? Like when dudes that come out of South Carolina, defensive players, whether it's linebacker, safety, corner, or defensive line, edge, it really don't matter. For some reason, the experts seem to think that they gonna play above their expectations, and they hardly ever do. They hardly ever do. Oh yeah, Tat played at UCLA. That's right. He played at UCLA. That's right. But Clowney, he came out of South Carolina. Now Clowney, he done bounced around a bit. He done bounced around quite a bit, but he's still a guy that teams would go after if they need somebody to set the edge. If that makes sense. If they're in need of it and he's available, he's a guy that you go look, that you like, okay, can we get him? Well, let's get him. It's not necessarily he's not necessarily somebody that you're going out your way to get, but if he's available, you're giving him a call, you tell him to come do a workout. If he can pass physical, you're gonna give him the goddamn thing. Yes, John Abraham, South Carolina. Great example. Corey Gilfire. See, John Abraham came into the league already being expected to be he was expected to be a damn good edge rusher or defensive end. And see, this was before the evolution of the football player. See, now defensive ends are pretty much becoming non-existent. You're just an edge. You have to be expected to be able to play as a defensive end at times and as an outside linebacker at times. John Abraham probably wouldn't make it in today's football with under most of the defensive coordinators' regimes. He probably just wouldn't make it on, being a franchise guy. He would move around a lot too, much like Jadeveon Clowney. But the difference is, while Clowney gets a lot of flack, but Clowney is still capable of dropping out in the flats and doing the goddamn thing. He can still drop out in the flats and disrupt edge plays. So, and he's still decent at pass rush, and he's very good at run stop defense. Southside said Hutchinson was said to be a franchise pass rusher also, and he looks like he is. Right. They get that. It's not a whole lot of guys that have came into the league from South Carolina. Excuse me. Not a whole lot of guys that came into the league out of South Carolina and was expected to just be okay. They wasn't expected to just be okay. These guys were expected to play above expectations. They was expected to make some noise. Kyle Kennard, I'm telling y'all right now, he gonna be one of them guys. He gonna be one of them guys. I'm telling you that right now. This dude, wherever he go, it don't matter what defense you plug him into, he can play it all because of his athleticism, his size, and his explosive movement. But we got to get into the next guy. I'm excited about this dude. Jet Sawyer's my favorite guy at edge in his draft. Kyle Kennard is a close second. He's a close second. Next guy on the list. I'll probably be putting these names up. Tripping. Who I got up there? Donovan Iziraku. Let's get him up here. Like I said, we just doing Google searches. We ain't going too deep in it tonight. We got a part 1, which is tonight, part 2, and part 3 for edge, linebackers, and safeties. This is part 1. So I'm just introducing y'all to some guys that I really like. Somebody that I pay close attention to on YouTube is Party on Broad Podcast. Me and him, we got similar ideals to defense when it comes to looking at defensive players and evaluating them and seeing if they can translate their talent to the next level. So y'all make sure y'all go check out Party on Broad Podcast on YouTube. This guy is very insightful, does a good job setting up the education of these guys for you to have a visual of them and for you to be able to see things that they're good at. He has way more time on his hands to do that than I do. Plus, he's a lot more tech savvy. I am not that tech savvy at all. This is as good as it gets with your boy Blakberry. I can share a screen for you and I can put some names up. But this dude, if you go to YouTube, go to Party on Broad Podcast. This dude does a hell of a job at setting up a visual for you to see these guys. And me and him share a lot of the same intellect, a lot of the same ideals on defense. So he gets my what they call it support, my endorsement. He gets my endorsement for sure. But Donovan Iziraku, this dude is out of Boston College. He's 6'3" and he's 232 pounds. He's a senior. He's not that big as far as edge goes. I think what gets him, excuse me. I think what gets him the most recognition at edge is that he's very versatile. If you need to put him inside, you can. If you need to play him at a weak side linebacker or middle or Mike linebacker, you can. He can also move up to safety if you need him to play strong safety. He's very good at doing that. This dude has he has a rare uniqueness about him at his size that you could pretty much plug him anywhere on the field, and he's going to have something about him that provides a mismatch to who he's lined up in front of. If you put him at edge, he's going to be a mismatch speed-wise for most tackles. If you put him at middle linebacker, if you put him at the weak side middle linebacker, the advantage he's going to have on most running backs and on most tight ends is that he's very intelligent guy. He has a high IQ, high football IQ. He's pretty much going to know what they're doing probably before they even line up and remember what the play call was from the quarterback. You could put him at strong safety, and he's going to be able to ransack the goddamn quarterback. He's going to be able to come at him full steam ahead. He's got the power to get through chip blocks. He's got the power to get through running backs coming to help block, or running backs that are in a blocking scheme or blocking play. He can run straight through them. This dude has a very unique skill set. He's not really necessarily just edge. He reminds me a lot of Deion Jones, just a tad bit bigger. He's a little bit bigger than Deion Jones. He's a little bit taller. He's 6'2". He's 232. As far as like his physical ability, he's a little bit strong. He's actually a lot stronger than Deion Jones. But if we were looking for a Deion Jones 2.0, Donovan Iziraku would be that guy, just not at middle linebacker. But he could play. You can move him around a lot. I think he is ideal for a 3-4 defense. Simply because you can keep an offense on their toes when they see him lined up in certain spots. If you wanted to throw an offense off and get a quarterback to come out of his original call and go into an audible, just because you see him lined up differently and you're afraid he's about to come after your quarterback to take his goddamn head off. So, yeah, Donovan Iziraku. He's definitely a guy out of Boston College that I'm going to have my eye on. Yes, I am. Next guy, last guy for the night for edge, Landon Jackson out of Arkansas. Let's get him pulled up. Landon Jackson, Arkansas. This the dude I was speaking on earlier when I say he is a very big. He's a very big guy, but he could get out there and so he's definitely more of a defensive end than he is a linebacker. But he can get out there on the edge, man. This is why they got him. Um, this is why they got this guy projected to be the standout player of this year's 2025 draft in the linebacker in the edge group. They think he's gonna be the guy that come in and make real noise at the next level, unexpectedly. And of course, as you saw, he's not even in CBS. CBS is top 20. I showed that earlier. I'll give it here. He's not even in his. The Landon Jackson is not in his top. If he was, I didn't see him. I don't remember seeing him. No, he's not. He's not. He's not even in CBS Sports top 20. And I know some people say, Blakberry, why you look at CBS Sports? I look at CBS Sports because CBS Sports they pretty much take something out of everybody's projections and makes their own projection of their own. And a lot of these defensive guys, and I think the defensive side of the ball is way, way deeper this year than the offensive side. As a collective, yeah, it's way deeper. It's way deeper. But Landon Jackson, let's get into it. This dude has good mobility on the snap, and really he's just big. He's just big. This guy's 6'7", 281 pounds. He's a senior, and he plays at Arkansas, so he plays for a hard-nosed football team. He plays for a hard-nosed defense. If you know anything about Arkansas's defense, they're not necessarily worried about being good. They just want to be known for knocking your goddamn block off. And that's basically what they do. And that's basically what this guy does. That's basically what this guy does, man. Landon Jackson. If he has you in his line of sight, if he got you in his line of sight and you're less than 10 yards off him, he finna knock the shit out you. He finna knock the dog shit out you. He's 6'7", 280 pounds. And he's just a big guy. He's just big. Looking at some of his tape, he's not necessarily wowing you with technique. He does have surprisingly good mobility on the snap. So it's like when the ball is snapped, like he doesn't have a lot of wasted movement. He knows exactly what he's finna do. He goes right into doing it. There's no wasted movement whatsoever. If he's rushing the pass rusher, if this is just a straight out rush, he's gonna go right into whatever he's about to do. If he's gonna try to do a swim move, if he's gonna try to do if he's gonna try to dip and rip on you, he gonna go straight into it. The dude is very talented. As far as when it comes to using his size, not necessarily gonna wow you with technique, but he surprisingly has very elusive movement on the snap to be 6'7", 280 pounds. Southside say edge Mike Green from Marshall is interesting as well. He led college this year with 17 and a half sacks. Excuse me. With 17 and a half sacks. Mike Green, yes, he is on my day 2. He's on my day 2 list. Along with he's on my day 2 list along with Michael Williams out of Georgia. He's on that day 2 list. But we got Landon Jackson, man. He got that alopecia thing going on, like the dude that beat us out of Minnesota that time, out of that year. What was that, like last year or the year before? Yeah, he got that little thing going on, but he you don't want to make fun of him. This dude, you don't want to make fun of him not having no goddamn eyebrows. He'll slap dog shit at you and leave you there for dead. You don't want to do that with this dude. But Landon Jackson, edge, man, out of Arkansas, man, big guy, 6'7", 280 pounds, and he's just a big dude, man. and he has good mobility. So keep an eye out for him. Next, we're going to go into the safety group. Billy Bowman Jr. If there was ever a football name to have, it's that one. Billy Bowman Jr. All right. Ooh. I'm gonna tell y'all off real what I don't like about Billy Bowman Jr. And the reason why he's on my list is because I think he possesses a skill that I think safeties need to have. That I think a lot of safeties sometimes forget to make sure they put first in their preparation for going up against offenses. And that's the awareness skill. That's the awareness skill. You need to know at safety, whether it's free safety or strong, both. You got to know what quarterbacks are about to do. You got to know how to read quarterbacks from doing study on them and practicing and getting with the scout team quarterback in some off time and having him do some things that quarterback does so that you're prepared on game day to be aware of what's coming from that quarterback, his tendencies, his tails, things he likes to switch up at the line. If he's a guy that's good at, if he's a guy that's going to come out of a play just because he sees pressure, and how he's going to come out of it. If you know they get in a formation and they got personnel on the field for a pass down, and this guy's going to come up to the line and see that he's finna get pressure on his blind side, extra pressure on his blind side. Is he going to come out of that play, or is he going to call a protection audible and stay in the play? You know, things like that. Just as an example, safeties communicate these types of things to the linebackers so that the linebackers in the defensive line can communicate with each other on what to expect in the blocking scheme. Safeties are highly intelligent football players, and I think that's something that's starting to become a lost art at the safety position. Everybody just wants to be able to hit somebody real hard and to be a ball hawk. You can't ball hawk consistently and persistently. You can't knock somebody block off coming across the middle consistently if you don't know what's coming already. You have to be highly aware to be able to communicate with the rest of the defense. While the Mike linebacker might be the quarterback of the defense, the safety might as well be the goddamn assistant damn quarterback of the defense. They 1 and 2. The free safeties especially. But something that Billy Bowman Jr. possesses is he's very smart. What I don't like about him is that he's only 5'10", and he gives me Ricardo Allen vibes. Now, no disrespect to Ricardo Allen, because I like me some Ricardo Allen when he was here before the injury. Ricardo Allen was a very intelligent football player. Ricardo Allen is going to be somebody's head coach on their football team one day. I don't know if it'll be at the professional level or if it'll be at the collegiate level, but he's going to be a head football coach on somebody's football team one day because of his intelligence. But Billy Bowman Jr. gives me Ricardo Allen vibes. This dude plays out of Oklahoma. Oklahoma is known for their defense for the most part, more so than anything else. I think him at safety for Oklahoma I think he's about as small as they gotten. I don't remember them having a safety his size. But at 5'10", only 200 pounds. He's very light in the ass. But because of his intelligence at the position, and he is a willing run support defender. He can get down there in the box and help in the run defense. So he's very he's kind of like Deion Branch in that way, where he might be giving up size, but when you put him down there in the box, that toughness and that pocket hamster size, that pocket hamster strength to be able to get down in there and bang with the big boys, and he's a very good tackler. So that's something you're getting out of Billy Bowman Jr. Next on the list, we got Jonas Sanker. Jonas Sanker, he's out of Virginia. Let me tell y'all something about your boy Blakberry right now. I am not a big fan of Virginia players on defense at safety. I would tell a story. Should I tell it? I'll tell it. So I'm gonna let y'all take a look at Jonas Sanker out of Virginia. He's 6'1", 210, senior. He's very good at playing in the box and being there for run support, defense, and he's very versatile. You can move him around in the secondary, and he can be reliable wherever you put him in the secondary. Safety, inside, outside, it don't matter. If you want him to play outside corner a little bit, you want to play inside corner a little bit, play safety. Hell, you could put him down there on the edge, and he can even do some edge rushing for you. Jonas Sanker, damn good goddamn football player. That's what I call him. Not just a safety, but a damn good football player. But real quick story. So your boy Blakberry, I did camp in at South Carolina State 1 year, and we had a couple other schools there, and one of those schools was Virginia, and it was a guy there. I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name, but there was a guy there. All right, and he played safety. Your boy Blakberry was getting some looks. We was out there playing. We was out there doing some doing some scout practice, some joint practices with this school, and your boy Blakberry was getting some. I was getting some, some looks at running back. So we doing some 7-on-7. I get out there and I get out there on a swing pass, and I go out in the swing route. Quarterback throws me the ball. I catch the ball. Your boy Blakberry got some hands. I catch the ball, and as I'm turning my shoulders, okay, now reckon this is 7-on-7. All we got on is helmets and shoulder pads. We don't have on lower pads. All we got on is helmets and shoulder pads. We do not not even shoulder pads. We just got on jerseys. We got on helmets and jerseys. That's all we got on. We don't have on pads. Your boy Blakberry come around on that swing. I catch the ball, and as I turn up field, this some bitch he chop tackles me. He chops me at the knees. And when I say your boy Blakberry was ready to fight, I probably shut down practice that day for about 30 minutes. Because I was trying to get out the dude. I used to know his name, but I ain't thought about him in so long. I got it. It'll come to me. But that's just one of the biggest no-nos in football is when it come to practice time and you doing them joint practices, 7-on-7s. If we not doing a scrimmage, if we ain't got on pads, you do not tackle anybody. Because all that you gonna call is somebody to want to get up and knock your block off. And that's exactly what I tried to do. But with that being said, Jonas Sanker out of Virginia. I like this guy. If we was going into this draft and somebody was saying, and if I'm in the war room and somebody say, if somebody say Jonas Sanker's up and it's the second round, if somebody says Jonas Sanker's up, I don't know who I like the most yet out of the safety group. But if somebody was to say we're on the clock and Jonas Sanker is there, without looking at anybody else, I'd take him. Second round. I'd take him second round. Something I like that he does very well in his versatility is that he plays exactly the same everywhere on the field. That's physical, in your face, and he's very good at tracking the ball. Like I say, we get, excuse me, round 3, we get into like I say, if Jonas Sanker's there, it's not, I mean, I really just like what the guy does as a football player. He's just a damn good football player. Billy Bowman, him and Billy Bowman Jr. both just some damn good football players. But as far as Billy Bowman's size, not really there for me at 5'10". Not really there for me. Like I said, remind me of Ricardo Allen. I like Ricardo Allen, but I can get intelligence at the level. I can get intelligence at that position with a bigger guy. Jonas Sanker. I mean, I don't see a lot about his intelligence, about his football IQ, but as far as like the playmaking ability that he has, he must have some good IQ. If he must have some pretty good IQ if he's making the kind of plays he was making at Virginia, and he was making a lot of plays. Keep an eye out for that guy. Next guy, Xavier. Don't get me to start trying to goddamn pronounce that shit, but I'm gonna say I think it's pronounced. I want to say the N is silent, or maybe the W is silent. Nekpa. Xavier Nekpa. I think that's his damn name. But let's get him pulled up. One of my favorite schools to go look for. One of my favorite schools to go look for defensive talent. Of course, everybody knows this is Iowa, i.e. Jack Campbell. But Xavier Nwakaba. No, Xavier Unkpa. That's what I'm gonna call him. Xavier Unkpa. Let's call him Unk. Let's call him Unk. Let's call him Xavier Unk. Out of Iowa. Something that this dude is well, first let me give you his specs. He's 6'2", 215. He's a junior. He has great speed with size and explosive lateral movement. He's another one of them guys. He's 6'2", 215. But this dude is going to be very good at playing the short field. He's going to be very good at playing the deep field. His speed and his length and his size is going to put him in a category of a guy like Cam Chancellor was bigger, of course, but this dude give me Cam Chancellor vibes, man. He give me Cam Chancellor vibes. Um, his ability to be able to come up in the box, his ability to play the deep field, and his ability to play the short field. He could play like a linebacker if you need him to, depending on the scheme you got him in. He's a hard-nosed football player. He would be he's one of the guys at the top of my list as well. He's probably like top 3 for me. This dude I really like him a lot. Let's see who next on the list. What's up with you, Christian Lewis? We just going over some linebacker edge guys and safeties right now. I'm going over these safeties. So let's see who we got next on the list. I think we got one more guy for the night. Andrew Mukuba. Andrew Mukuba. Let's get him pulled up. Andrew Mukuba. All right, so this dude, he plays at Texas, but he was at Clemson. 6 foot, 190 pounds, junior. He has great versatility. He's great at playing in the box and in the short field. I think he's mostly comparable to a Deion Branch. Now, of course, Deion Branch played cornerback. This dude plays safety. But like I tell everybody, Deion Branch ain't nothing but a damn safety playing corner. Right now, he's a corner. Right now, he most of his job is in the slot. That's where you're going to see Andrew Mukuba at, as well as safety. You're going to see him playing slot guys a lot. Because he's good at tracking the ball, but he's also good at tracking receivers. I think he could play any position in the secondary. You could put him as safety, free or strong. You can put him outside if you want him to play. If he got to follow somebody and play him outside, like in typical games against guys like Alvin Kamara, who likes to line up on the outside a lot. He can follow a guy like Alvin Kamara out there. He can follow a Jahmyr Gibbs out to the outside when they line up wide out. He can do those types of things, and he can stick with those guys. He's 6 feet 190, but when you watch him play, he plays big. Not a big guy at all at 190. Hell, I can't remember last time I was 190. But the dude plays hard-nosed football, has great versatility, great playing in the box and the short field. So, Andrew Mukuba. These are my day one people. I'll bring them back up for you. Let's see. Chris Lewis say she's still cold. Yo, Brian Branch. My bad, Corey Goodfire. Not Deion Branch. I'm tripping. Brian Branch. That's Deion. Yeah, I know who Deion Branch. He played for the Patriots. Receiver for the Patriots back in the day. That ain't who I'm talking about. Brian Branch. You know what I'm talking about, Corey Goodfire. So you've been paying attention. But anyway. So my first round of guys is Danny Dennis Sutton. It's Danny Dennis Sutton, not just Danny Dennis. Danny Dennis Sutton out of Penn State, 6'5", 270 pounds. Jack Sawyer out of Ohio State, 6'5", 260, senior. Kyle Kennard out of South Carolina, 6'5", 254, senior. Donovan Izeraku out of Boston College, 6'3", 232. Landon Jackson. These are linebackers, the edge guys, edge linebackers. But Landon Jackson out of Arkansas, 6'7", 281 pounds, senior. Those are the edge guys that we went over tonight in the first round. For the safety groups in the first round, we went over Billy Bowman Jr. out of Oklahoma, 5'10", 200 pounds. Jonas Sanker, probably my favorite right now at safety. We're gonna, like I say, we got 3 rounds of this, so we're gonna do a deeper dive in round 3 of everybody. In round 2, I'm gonna introduce the second half of the group, of the safety group that I like. But Jonas Sanker right now, probably my favorite option at safety. Like I said, if I'm in the war room, if it's me in the war room in the second round and Jonas Sanker name comes up and we on the clock, I'm taking him. Out of Virginia, 6'1", 210, senior. Xavier Unk. I'm just going to call him Unk. Out of Iowa, 6'2", 215 pounds, junior. And last for the night is safety, Andrew Mukuba out of Texas. But he played at Clemson. I think that's saying something. But he plays for Texas. He's out of Texas right now. 6 foot, 190 pounds senior. That's the safety group for the night. So with that being said, man, we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping this thing on up. Anybody got any questions? I'll give y'all about 5 minutes to ask them. My son got a lot to say. Maybe he'll answer some questions. But anybody got something they want to ask me about, ask away. But as far as, man, like what we've gotten out of the Falcons so far in this offseason with the Jimmy Lake firing and the Jay Rogers firing and the Jeff Ulbrich hire, I feel about it the way I feel about any hires going into any, during any all season when we looking for coaches and we letting coaches go. We don't know what any of them are going to bring to the table. Well, we know what they might bring to the table based off of the research we do. But we don't know what any of it is going to pan out to be until it's all put together. We don't know what any of it's going to be. We're going to criticize during the season what we see. And we're going to criticize it when things are promised and promises aren't upheld. We're going to criticize it. And we're not going to like when promises are made and people aren't upholding promises, and then they come back in the media and they tell you something that sounds contradictory to what they said. It's just what it is. As a fan base, we are holding everybody at a standard. We're holding everybody at a standard because that's what we're supposed to do. When you elect the president of the United States, you're electing him because he told you, or she, well, ain't been no she, so he told you he was going to do something, and you're expecting him to do it. It's about everything is always about expectations. Jay Rogers, Southside say Jay Rogers need to be fired. Corey get fired. He said, would you trade the first pick? Let me see what we picking at. We are currently picking 15? Oh, yeah, we locked in at 15. Okay. So we're picking at 15. We're picking at 15. I would make that trade. I would trade the 15 pick if he got the right offer that come along with it. If it got to have something that comes with it that when I start getting criticized by my fan base for trading that 15th pick, what I got in return better be worth me coming to the defense of if it doesn't pan out in the first year. Whether it's a player or whether it's picks or whether it's more picks in the draft. If I trade 15 for another second round, for another second rounder and a third round pick, if I trade that one pick for those two picks for a second round and a third round, and neither that second round nor third round pick contributes to doing anything for my football team. If I pick somebody at those picks, it better be worth me coming to the defense of. If neither of those guys turn up injured or something. Also, if I trade that number 15 for a couple more picks and I trade those picks for a player that's already in the league, that guy better be somebody that's about to contribute immediately to my football team. They better be the reason for us getting off the field in critical third down situations, critical fourth down situations defensively. They better be the reason why we keep the chains moving if it's offensively. They better be the reason for that a few times. Because it's all about what is the contribution to the team at the end of the day when I trade that 15th pick. Otherwise, I better pick at 15. If we move up in the draft to get a higher pick, well, whatever you give up, Terry, you just better make sure it's all worth it. Southside say at 15, if James Pierce or Jahad Campbell are there, take them. A lot of y'all like James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee more than I do. Not saying I don't like him, because I do. I just think he's been on a grander stage than a lot of the edge rushers that I do like in his draft, more so than the other guys. Like, you've seen way more of him than you have of Kyle Kennard out of South Carolina. You've seen way more of him than you have Donovan Iziraku out of Boston College. You've even seen way more of him than you've seen Landon Jackson out of Arkansas. And trust me, I don't like Landon Jackson more than I like him. Trust me, I ain't saying that. Not saying that at all. But some of these guys that I'm looking at, like the Danny Dennis Sutton out of Penn State, you haven't seen him as much as you've seen Jahad Campbell. And that's because the spotlight's been on him more. He's been in more primetime games. He's coming from a team that's just done more than those teams even probably more than Jack Sawyer. I'm not a big James Pierce guy. Let's put it that way. Do I think that he's a good player? He's a good edge guy? Yeah, he is. He's a good edge guy. But it's a reason why I got him on my day twos. I mean, not on my day twos. Sorry. That came out wrong because he's going to go first round. But it's a reason why I got him on my second round of players that I'm going to go over next week. Who else you said? Will Campbell? Did you say Will Campbell? Oh, Jahad. Oh no, Jahad Campbell. Yeah. Yeah, James Pierce and Jahad Campbell. Yeah, they've had more attention on them. But I like them both though. Like I say, they on my second round of guys to go over. I don't think James Pierce will be there at 15. Though. I think he'll be gone already. Any more questions? We're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing on up. Y'all make sure y'all go on hometeamfits.com, man. Go to hometeamfits.com, get your home team Falcon apparel at hometeamfits.com. That's home team, HOMETEAM, fits, FITS.com. And get your home team Falcon apparel. It's fan art designs that are on the apparel, man. It's some pretty artsy stuff. All of it's done by myself. Everything got a story to it, got a meaning behind it. A lot of it I just think is real cool. So I put it on a shirt or I put it on a jacket. So just go to hometeamfish.com. Christian Lewis can tell y'all about that. She bought that, her profile. If you're looking at her picture there, her thumbnail picture there, she's wearing a bomber jacket that she purchased from the website. And man, it's great quality. It holds up in the dry cleaning. And man, it just looks real good, man. So go check out hometeamfish.com, get your home team Falcon apparel. Also, I endorse Party on Broad podcast on YouTube, man. This dude, me and him share the same ideals when it comes to the defensive side of the football. And he does his breakdowns basically exactly how I would, damn near. But I endorse this dude, man. Go to Party on Broad podcast on YouTube, man, and check that guy out. Look at his breakdown of what's coming up at the on the defensive side of the ball in the 2025 draft. With that being said, appreciate everybody coming through. Christian Lewis, Corey Gill 5, Southside 12, Bernard Cantrell, Jonte Rogill. Appreciate everybody coming through, man. If I missed you, I apologize. But y'all make sure y'all head Michael. Appreciate you, Michael, for coming through. Y'all make sure y'all head over to Atlanta Falcon Nation, man, and check out Atlanta Falcon Nation stuff, man. We still associated with the AFN family. Make sure you're checking out Big Will, the Georgia Reaper, on everything Atlanta sports on AFN. Make sure you're checking out Coach Unchained. Hey, man, make sure y'all make it do what it do for Atlanta Falcon Nation, man. With that being said, man, appreciate everybody coming through. This has been the Rex Pit. Catch me on the flip side, home team.